So welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of Ford Carlisle 2024. If you guys missed part 1, go ahead and click the link in the description. But first I wanted to go through all of the barn find cars and show you guys what they sell for. So this is a 1966 Ford Mustang. Of course it is in black with the red interior. The interior actually is the pony interior. I'll show you that. It does have the ponies on the seats there. They look like they're new and have been recovered. You can see it also has an aftermarket air conditioning system that's been included in this car. And it looks to be a C code, just a 2-barrel 289 down in there. Looks like it originally came with air conditioning. What are they asking for this car? They're asking $15,900. It did come with power steering and a power brakes. However, it does have drum power brakes and not disc brakes on the front of this car. What do you guys think? I think $15,000 for this car is a good start here at Carlisle 2024. Right across the call here is a 1978 King Cobra. Now, we did talk about King Cobras in the previous video, like I mentioned, but we did not see any of them in this condition. Now, this one does not have the graphics on the hood, and you can see that the 13-inch wheels here do need a little bit of work, and this does happen to be the 302 V8 version of the King Cobra. It doesn't have any plaid interior in it like the ones we took a look at earlier, but it does look like it has a nice color interior that matches the stripe down the side, and I believe that is a Stallion steering wheel, at least the emblem is. All of the body parts do look correct on the car, though. It doesn't look like you're going to have to find any fairings or any pieces like that. I'm not sure what they're asking for this car. You can see right here they're asking $9,500 or best offer, and I do believe it does come with a 331 posi-track rear end. So we stumbled across our first baby bird here, and now this is a 1957 Ford Thunderbird, and what makes this one special is that it's an E code, and of course all Thunderbirds kind of share this same platform, and you can tell the difference by the size of the fins of the first 3 gears. However, the heart in this car is a 312 cubic inch E code, and that would actually make it one of the most desirable versions that year. And the reason it was desirable is because it had this intake with 2 4-barrel carburetors sitting on top. Now, I'm not sure what the owner's asking for this car. There is no price on it. However, it does say that it is not cheap. We can also see here that it does have a white and black interior and does come with a removable hardtop, and it is an automatic. And once again, we'll go over and see if there's a phone number on it. And there's not. It just says for sale, not cheap, 57E T-Bird. And this is a 1973 Ford Bronco, and this car actually sold for $3,500. And I'm not the biggest Bronco fan, but I do feel like the person that bought this car got a pretty good deal. It does look a little rough, but when you look underneath this car and you look on the floors in here, and just basically all around this vehicle, it looks like a really, really good start. Yeah, all of the patches have some rust on them whatsoever, and somebody cut out the back quarter panels here to put bigger tires on, and that's normally what happens with these kind of cars. But overall, in the market for these have just kind of exploded in recent years, and to get into one for $3,500, I don't think is a bad deal. One of the coolest cars we found so far is this 1955 Ford Thunderbird. Now, we looked at an E code 57. This is a D code 55. And again, you can see the difference in the last one. It has a much, much shorter fin here in the back. And this one also has the hard top. No porta-hole in this one. And I do believe it does look like actually it might have been a 3-speed on this car. However, the engines are the same for the D code and the E code, but we can see that the intake has 1 carburetor on there, looks like a 4-barrel. And they do share basically the same heads and the same camshaft, but this car made about 30 less horsepower back in the day. But overall, I love the color of this car. I love the way that this car just looks on the back of this trailer. The owner is asking $18,000 for this car. Remember, the other one didn't have a price on it. And you can get a hold of the owner right here. So we just took a look at the Bronco down the street. This one is also for sale, but a little bit more expensive. They're offering this one for sale for $8,700, and it does have a few more components than the one that sold for $3,500 down there. It does have a 302 under here, it looks like. There is no transmission to this car, so it doesn't run. And we do have all of the running gear present still underneath this vehicle, so you can push it around. However, it does look like this car is in a little bit worse condition than the one down there. You can see that the rockers are completely rotted away, as well as the door is going to need some work. I'm not 100% sure what the floor looks like on this car. We'll try and see if we can open the back up here. Yeah, not going to be able to really tell you how rusty the floor is. You can kind of see down here that it looks like it is there, but it'd be kind of scary to pull up that carpet and see how much of this car is actually left. We also have a Ford Econoline here. I think this one's for sale for $5,750, but I want to show you that they actually cut the rear quarters of this Bronco as well. They originally, remember, would have been kind of just straight across, just like this. Now remember, this one is for sale. Ooh, that door just almost fell off that car. But the owner's phone number is right there. Looks like they just pulled this one out of a barn. It's a 1966 Mustang A-Code, which is a 289 4-barrel. And of course, it says that right here on the side. Now, it is a 4-speed. It does say that it does have the console in it, and it is a convertible. And it does say on the thing here that it does have a power top. Now, they are asking $7,000 for this car. The owner's phone number is right there, and it does sport the pony interior. And again, we know it's the pony interior because it does have the ponies that run across it. Ooh, looks like this one hasn't been cleaned out or anything like that. There's the 4-speed. Again, the dash in a 66 is different than a 65. It has those circle gauges. But if you're pulling a car out of a barn or anything, this is kind of unmolested is what I would say about this one. Not sure what the back end here looks like. It doesn't look hateful here in the trunk. I mean, it needs a little cleaning, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't look like you're going to have any sort of surprises when you get this car home and on the lift. And I actually made a mistake in my spring Carlisle video. I mentioned that one of these type of cars had wheel covers on it and it only had 4 lugs. This is a V8 car, so it did have 5 lugs from the factory, and the 4 lugs were only on T-code 6-cylinder cars. With restomod Bronco prices bringing crazy numbers, I kind of wanted to show you guys what all of them are worth here at the show. This car did sell. It is Saturday. It actually sold on Thursday or Wednesday earlier this week. The owner told me as soon as he got here, it was gone. This car brought $21,000. You see the front fenders have been cut, the back fenders have been cut. But if we peek our heads inside here, we can see that the floors on this car really aren't that bad. Kind of look like that $3,500 one with just a little bit more work and a couple bottles of seam sealer, if you ask me. Overall, though, the car looks very well. I like the black color on it. Looks like all the panels are straight. They don't really have rust on them or anything like that. Looks just like a nice, solid car. Little rough back in here. But for $21,000, I don't know, guys. I think this one's pretty much already done. Or would you start over and rebuild it as your own? Let us know in the comments below. Now, we learned in the first part of this series about 1978 Cobra 2s, and that would be the first year that they put the solid stripe down the side. But remember that you could get the same pattern in late 1977. This car is offered for sale. You can see here they are asking $15,000 for this car. And we'll just give you kind of an overview on the outside. Has the louvers on it. Of course, they were part of the Cobra 2 package. It was basically just an appearance package. It wasn't anything that, was performance oriented. We do see that it does. This one also has a stallion on the grill, so maybe that's the way that they came, as well as this one does have a 4-speed. I'm not 100% sure what the engine option is in this car. It doesn't have it mentioned anywhere outside or on any paperwork, but if you're interested in a pretty nice Cobra 2, this one's available for $15,000. The car behind the Cobra 2 is this 1938 Ford. It's a little bit different than the 37. I personally am partial to the 37s. The 38 kind of comes out like this. The 37 kind of swoops back just like that. Looks like they got either a 289 or a 302 down inside there. Very, very, very nice restoration. We can go over here and take a look at all of the parts that have been taken care of and reworked on this car. What are they asking for it? They're asking 42.5 or best after, 38.4 convertible, and the phone number is there. But again, this is an extremely nice car. The paint presents well. I like those gauges on the inside. They just have a little bit more of a retro vibe to them. Modern steering wheel, but it still looks vintage. Seats have been recovered. The colors are nice maroon with it's almost like a creamish or an eggshell color on the outside of this car. Originally from Georgia, dual tips out the back. Just a very nice street rod here at Ford Show at Carlisle. And if you're interested in it, it's for $42,500. Earlier, we took a look at a 1966 Ford Barn Find convertible. This is a 67, and it also is a Barn Find-esque convertible. We see here the price tag on this one is $16,900, a little bit more expensive than the 66 we saw for $7,000 earlier. This car belongs to a friend of mine, Kim Miller, over in York, and it seems to be a really decent car. Of course, you can see it's either looks like a 3-speed or a 4-speed down there. We know that that's the original Ford shifter with the reverse lockout on there. But what's cool is we can tell that this car has been sitting since 1990. The interior in there does look to be original and does look like this is just a nice solid 1967 convertible car. No dings or dents that are huge on the outside that I can see. But if you're interested in this nice Mustang, you're more than welcome to give Kim a call, and the phone number is right there. In yesterday's video, we started off by looking at a 1967 S-Code Mustang, and the car behind me here is an S-Code fastback, but it's also a GTA. Now, they didn't offer the GTA in 1968, only in 1967, and we can see the S-Code on the front apron right here. Now, what would be included in the GT package, of course, is the front fog lights, and there would be a switch underneath the dash to operate those fog lights. On the back end, this car actually has dual exhaust. So for right here, you can see that the dual exhaust cutouts, that was a GT option, and you could get the GT option on any V8 Mustang in 1967. It doesn't have to be an S-Code. Also, the gas cap's different for a GT. In 67, they were black. In 68, they were red. But I wanted to show you guys how much this car is worth. S-Codes being some of the most desirable fastbacks on the market. We can see that they started at 98, they're down to 93. The phone number for the gentleman is right there. As well as we also have the Marty report. However, the car behind us here is a 1968. Of course, we can see that it does have the side marker lights on there. This is also a GT fastback. I'm not sure if it's an S-Code yet, but we can tell that it's a 68, again, by the red gas cap, the cutouts. Now, this one is not a GTA because it is not an automatic. They didn't offer the GTA in 1968. You can see the 4-speed down in there. It does say that it was a California car, and it is painted in black with the white C stripe. And it does have the GT hubcaps here. And it does say that it is, well, it does have a 390 in it. Not sure if it is an S-Code 100%. Yes, it does say that it is an S-Code. The owner's phone number is right here. And they're asking $135,000 for this car. So there you have it, guys. A couple of GT Mustang fastbacks, one for 93, one for 135. You guys be the judge. Which one would you take home? So I wanted to show you guys something really cool, and that's this 427 single overhead camera. And you can find parts just like this here at Carlisle, as well as all of the intakes or Ford air cleaners or just anything that the guys have on the table here for sale. It's a lot of rare vintage Ford parts. Their phone number is right here. But what I wanted to do is talk about the 1970 Ford Torino that's over here. And this car is pretty rough. So for example, we can't really read the door sticker here. We probably have to clean that off for you. They do have a Marty report. We'll go over that here in just a moment. But looking into this car, we can't tell whether it's even a 4-speed or an automatic or really what this car was. We do know that it's a GT. We can see the GT emblems on the back here. But if we look down here in the engine compartment, we see that it does have a 351 Cleveland. Looks like it's actually falling out of the car. I believe the owner said that this car was sitting outside its whole life, and that's exactly why it looks like this. But we'll check out the Marty report on this side. Yeah, and you can see it's a 1970 Torino GT, asking $4,200. We do see here that it is a 4-speed transmission. And of course, the phone number for the gentleman is right here. And we'll get a look we'll get a look at the car on the outside on this side. And it does have a hole for a shaker hood. So let me see if this car had a shaker with it. Yep, you can see right here, your vehicle is equipped with the shaker hood scoop. So the car behind me is a 1967 Shelby GT350. And of course, the 67 and the 68 cars are completely different, although they do look somewhat similar. For example, the 67s, the early cars, had functional scoops on the side. You can kind of see the hole down in there, but you probably can see a little bit better on the back side is the hole right there, and that's to go ahead and get air into these brakes so that way that cools them down. Now, this is a 10-spoke wheel on a 68 car. Those were not there originally. This is a 10-spoke wheel on a 67 car. Those were optional in 1967. And a couple other features, like the louvers right here. On a 68 car, they are tapered. They get bigger towards the back, smaller in the front. On a 67, they are all the same size. Now, we're going to have a video on Shelbys and the difference between them coming up here on the channel. If you're interested in that, you can subscribe. But this car is for sale for $189,000. I don't see a phone number, but it is Shelby number 3085. One of the most common questions that I get is how I got into classic cars, and a lot of that has to do with family that I grew up in, my grandfather, my father. But the first car that I ever bought and sold that was a classic car was a 1970 Mustang, painted in the same paint color as this car behind me. This color is called Calypso Coral, and this car is not a Mach 1, and it is not a Boss 302 like it says on the side of this car. This is just a regular sports roof Mustang, which would be the base version with the fastback roof. However, they've turned it into a restomod, and in my opinion, it was done extremely well. You see the Coyote 5.0 here. It does have the faux shaker hood on the top of it. I'm not sure, I don't think that thing does shake back and forth, but it does still look really, really cool on the car. It does have a more modern wheel to it, and I'm not sure what the transmission is, probably a 5 or a 6-speed. Looking in there, it does say 5, so probably a TKO. But this car actually sold. It did sell for $89,500 on the tag there. Yeah, $89,500 is what that car sold for. So if you guys have an idea of what these cars are bringing on the market. But the owner of this car that sold this one owns this 65 Mustang Fastback behind us. This one does look like a pretty solid project car. It is, I believe, a 289, either C or A code. I don't remember which. This was just a project that somebody was working on, and the original owner passed away, and it was just kind of left languishing. And so this is kind of the result of that event. And I want to show you down inside here. The floors on this car are pretty decent. It was being converted into a drag car. You can see the owner here is asking $19,500. And of course, his phone number is right here, and that would actually be the same phone number for the white Shelby that we just took a look at earlier. You're more than welcome to give Bill a call if you're interested in any of these Mustangs. Well guys, we're winding our day down here at Carlisle Ford Nationals 2024. If you guys found value in this video, please go ahead and just give us a like. It really does help the video out, or subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Parker with Backyard Barn Finds, and have a great day.